All right, everybody, welcome back. I just might have a good one for you today, especially if you're one of those who believe in ghost stories, spirits, apparitions, any of that kind of stuff, hauntings. I think I might have a good one for you, and I'm glad I get to come here and share this with you. I'm in Denton, Texas today, and right in front of me, there's a bridge. There's a bridge that was built in 1884, and it's called the Old Alton Bridge. It's in Denton, Texas. Now, this bridge in 1988, which by the way is the year I was born, was put on the National Registry of Historic Places. Let's dig into this a little more. So, locally, to the people who live in the area, they don't call it Old Alton Bridge, they call it Goatman's Bridge. Reason being, they believe that it is haunted of sorts. If you come out here when the sun is down and walk around the surrounding area or even cross the bridge, you can see some sort of figure that's half man, half goat. And they believe it to be a man by the name of Oscar Washburn. This is a gentleman who moved his family just north of the bridge, and that's where they started a life. And we're going to talk about Oscar right now. All right, everybody, so right now, we're going to go across the bridge. Clearly, you can see it's a very old bridge. It's all wood. You got the steel frame. But as the story goes, when Oscar hung that sign that said Goatman this way, apparently there was a big Ku Klux Klan following in the area at that time. And a man by the name of Jack Kendall, who was a leader of the Klans group at the time, saw the sign and it enraged him. They went to the residence of Oscar Washburn and took him out of his house, Jack and a couple fellow Klansmen, and they drug him to the Alton Bridge. When they did, they had a noose already hung up somewhere on the bridge, and when they got there, they put it around Oscar's neck. And on one side or the other of this bridge, after they tightened it on his neck, they threw him over. And immediately after, they waited a few seconds, ran down the embankment on one side or the other of the bridge, not sure, they don't really specify, and they want to see Oscar's hanging body. Well, when they get down there, they see the noose there, and it's empty. There's no body hanging. They didn't hear a splash, and they find themselves baffled. So, they immediately go back to the residence of Oscar Washburn. And when they get there, they set it ablaze with his child and his wife inside. They figured that if they did that, if Oscar had slipped out and was hiding, if he saw that, he would come out to save his family. Well, the plan didn't work out because Oscar didn't come out. Oscar was never seen from again or heard from. And that's where the legend of the Goatman begins. So the story with Oscar is him and his family, they tended to a farmstead, goat herd, just around the area of the bridge. And they were very renowned and known for the meat, the cheese, the milk, and even the hides that they festered from the goats and were able to sell to people in the town. He was a very proud farmer, as the story goes. And where the story starts and the legends start of Goatman's Bridge is when Oscar came to the bridge and hung a sign directing people where to go toward his house, which was also his business. And it said, Goatman, this way. So I'm going to tell you right now, this dates back to the 30s. It's the 1930s when they say this happened to Oscar Washburn. But here's the twist. If you go look in the record books, in the history books, in the census, analytics, whatever it is, if you go look for the records of an Oscar Washburn or even the Klansman Jack Kendall, you're not going to find them because they don't exist. Don't know exactly where the legend of the Goatman started, but I know this. They gave names to the people in the story to make you feel like they're real, like you actually know them. And I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying that at all. But the name Oscar Washburn, that is not real. So, myself, I've never seen a spirit. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen an apparition. I've never seen any of that stuff. So, call me a non-believer. But a lot of people say they see a lot of spooky things happen around here. They hear a lot of crazy sounds. And they say they can validate that stories are real, that crazy things happen out here. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to hang around this town until the sun goes down, and we're going to come back out here, and we're going to see if we can find anything a little spooky. Stick around. All right, so really quick, I want you to look behind me, and I got a plane flying overhead. I'm going to wait till the sun goes down, and I'm going to probably walk around the area over there. There's woods and stuff. I'm going to walk around that area, and like I said, see if we can find things spooky. But if you notice right there, there's a group behind me. They're heading that direction right now. And from what I can get from it, I was kind of snooping in their conversation. But basically what it is they have devices. It's a ghost tour, some sort of spiritual tour. And they're all going in there right now, where I just came from, where I filmed the first part of my video. And they have devices on them. If I understood correctly, it's some sort of spirit reading device. But it's kind of cool that this town draws that kind of attention. And that's why I said I want to stay. Let's find out if there's any validity to that. Whether there is or not, I'm more of the I need proof to believe it type person, but either way, it'll be fun for us to find out together. But anyway, you clearly see the town has an attraction. But again, let's wait till the sun goes down. All right, sun's starting to go down, everybody. Now, I want to share a couple things. As it gets dark, we'll walk around, see what happens. Hopefully, it's all myth and legend and there's not really any truth to it. But I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of reality shows, but I watch them. And I find myself asking, what's real and what's not? Because you never quite know what's real.
As Aaron begins to show a tremendous amount of fear, he finally convinces Jay to leave the circle and join Billy and myself up on the bridge. Aaron has no idea of the consequences that this decision will have on him.
So the reason that has importance in this situation, reality TV, because if you are a fan of ghost type entertainment, then you'll know that there was a show, and there still is a show, Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventures are basically like any other type of show. They go around, they go to haunted places, they tell the story, and they'll usually stick around into the late hours, and they'll do all kinds of stuff where they basically want to make the spirits come out, show you that ghosts are real and that these places people say are haunted, they're going to go there, they're going to prove to you they're haunted, and usually a bunch of crazy crap happens. So, very entertaining. Very entertaining, but again, what's real, what's not? So many reality TV shows out there, just following somebody around in their daily life. I find that a little hard to believe as well, because yes, I do believe there's some truth to what's going on, but I also believe some of that's a little bit fancy. But when it comes to Ghost Adventures, I watched that episode where they're at Goatman's Bridge. It was quite entertaining.
Is aware that we're here. Something in this forest is gonna greet us when that sun goes down. Stir it up. We decide to attempt to conjure this entity from underneath Goatman's bridge.
So as it pertains to the area around Goatman's bridge, there's a stream that runs under the bridge, and there's woods in the surrounding area. I'm standing in the woods right now, and I just heard something above me, probably the wind, but I think I'm starting to psych myself out already. But it was in the Ghost Adventures episode when they were here. They were traveling through the woods when it was dark, and they were not quite sure if they wanted to go to an area that apparently has a bunch of doll heads hanging, and people come out to do satanic rituals. Now, when I first arrived out here earlier in the day, there was 2 officers that came out. We stopped, we chatted a little bit. I told them what I was doing here. They kind of asked me what I knew and explained some stuff to me that I didn't know, and pretty much explained how there's a lot of people that come out here for this legend, and said that there are some times that they come out here and there's people doing satanic rituals. So I'm not sure if I want to go look for the doll heads, but if I work up the nerve, we just might go find it. So I'm doing a little bit of filming on this trail that's right outside of where the bridge is. And I do believe this was also in the episode of the Ghost Adventure. So I'm just going to walk a little too far. I'm not going to go too deep, because as much as I don't believe in spirits, ghosts, that type of stuff, mainly because I've never seen nothing like that, I'm not trying to psych myself out, but I'm just going to be careful. And usually I think it's a mentality thing. Knowing what's the legend is, knowing the stories, you kind of psych yourself out. I think that's human nature. Now, again, I'm not saying nothing's real just because I haven't seen it, but if it is real, I'm not sure if I want to see it. But you can see it's just a lot of woods. And this is pretty much where people say that they see the crazy stuff happening. And this is the area where a lot of the stories. I'm sure down that way, there's a path that leads down there. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I want to go down there. All right, so here's video evidence if something happens. I decided I am going to walk in there a little bit where I said I wasn't, just to kind of see what's going on. If I freak out and run, don't make fun of me. But I just want to see some of that writing that was on the trees. I went back and watched the clip of when I just filmed it a second ago, and it kind of freaked me out because I seen the lights in the distance, and it threw me off a little bit. But see a little bit of writing. R heart A. Very old stuff. There you go, right there. There you go. There you go. That's probably some of the stuff that they were talking about. Pentagrams on the tree. So this may be the area where they do all that stuff. So I worked up the nerve, and that's as far as I'm going. I gotta be honest, you know, I just think the human mind is so crazy. It's the psychology, the way that we can psych ourselves out, the way we can make people feel emotions with our storytelling or with our music or any type of art form out there. It's amazing how we can make people feel a certain way. And I think that's the psychology. Because I've sat there and told you, I don't believe in that stuff, but I got to tell you, I feel really strange being out here since the sun went down. So honestly, I mean, I'm just curious, if you're watching this video, please comment. How many of you out there actually do believe in ghosts or have some sort of story of your own? Whether you're dealing with something right now, maybe it's a house you live in, maybe it's somebody you know, maybe it's something you dealt with as a child. I'd like to hear that story. I'm really curious because, again, I have a hard time believing any type of stuff like that. But I know there's a lot of people out there that will argue with me and tell me that stuff like that's true. So please comment in the comment section, and I want to know your story. So right now, I'm probably about a good 20 feet from one side of the bridge entrance, and I was looking for consistencies in every story because, again, it's a legend. We don't really know what's true and what's not. We're going by legend. But basically, one consistency is the sighting of the Goatman. Half man, half goat. And usually the body is man and the head is that of a goat. So pretty much everybody has that same story when they say they've seen that figure. So again, don't want to see it, but we're about to go on the bridge. And also, as legend goes, they say if you knock on the frame of the bridge 3 times, you can stir up the Goatman and bring him out. So, as I'm going to take my leave, while everybody else sticks around and has fun on the bridge, I want you to remember one thing. If you're not quite into legends and crazy ghost stories and stuff like that, if you're not into that, you don't got to come out here for that. There's also a very big historical factor. If you remember that this was extremely old. I mean, 1884 was quite a long time ago. So could you just imagine the historical significance? Not necessarily the lore and the legend of what most people are out here for. Think about the historical factor. I mean, if you really think about it, that in itself is quite interesting. And that should be in itself enough to make you want to get up, get out, and go see things in places like this. You should absolutely want to do it. Like I say every time, if there's somewhere you want to go, get up and go. If something you want to do, go out and do it. If there's somebody you want to meet, go out and meet them. And again, get up, get out, and just dream big.